What's good, YouTube? Keith Moore Jr. here. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who you think it may help. So today I'm going to discuss how to gain weight for hard gainers. So I was a hard gainer myself. I did not learn about being in a caloric surplus and proper nutrition until I was 26 years old. That is around the time period when I moved from North Carolina to Chicago, and I got more involved in the YouTube fitness community. I did not have a channel back in 2014, but I was watching a lot of videos like Chris Jones, Matt Ogus, and 3D Muscle Journey with Eric Helms. I was watching a lot of his videos that he would do with Matt Ogus. So I was learning from people who I saw bulk up properly and then get back lean, very lean again, even specifically with Matt Ogus, extremely lean to compete. With Chris Jones, I was watching him, he would do the dirty bulk, and then he would cut down to get lean. At the time, he hadn't competed in any shows yet. He just did his first competition actually in 2018. But I was still learning from those two, although I wasn't competing yet myself. So that's when I started to do more research and started to take the Chris Jones approach, and I did what I thought was a dirty bulk. It wasn't anything compared to the dirty bulk that he did, because during my dirty bulk I got up to 185, which was extremely heavy for me. I had put on at least 20 pounds, and I was just eating whatever, steak and shake every night, drinking mass gainer shakes. Those mass gainer shakes had a ton of calories, and I had no idea what half the ingredients were. But so for me, in my eyes, it was a dirty bulk, but I was still pretty lean. So I wouldn't call it like the Chris Jones version of the dirty bulk, because I probably could have put on another 15 pounds to make it a true dirty bulk. But anyway, let me get back on topic here. So me learning this information at around 26 years old, I'm hoping that I can save someone the time with this video here, and that they can learn that, earlier in their lifting career than I learned in mine. And by the way, I'm 30 years old now, in case anybody was curious about that or anything. But the first thing that you need to do is to begin tracking your calories and how much food you are consuming. Because no matter what, if you are either losing weight or you cannot gain weight, you will not know what changes you need to make in your nutrition unless you know how many calories you're consuming daily. So when you know how many calories that you're consuming daily, then you can go back and say, well, I'm losing weight, so I'm just going to give an example here, not saying you have to stick to an exact diet or anything, but let's say for the day your carbs are at 200 grams of carbs, just hypothetically. And you can see, okay, I'm at 200 grams of carbs. Let me increase that to 250 grams of carbs per day, and then see how my body reacts to that over the next, I would say, probably 2 weeks. And then you can see, okay, well, my weight went up maybe 0.5 pounds. Again, hypothetical here. Maybe it went up 1 pound in 2 weeks. And then you can say, okay, that was what I needed to do. I needed to, increase my calories so that I could start to, gain weight. Or let's say nothing happened. So something you can do is, okay, what, okay, let me increase my calories some more, and it can be across your proteins, your fats, your carbs. But let's look at the total calories overall here first. For the sake of this video, we won't have time to break down each macronutrient and what your goal should be. But if you don't gain weight over those 2 weeks, then start to increase your calories again. So what a lot of people think is, okay, I eat bad, but I'm not gaining weight. This is what a lot of the hard gainers say, because it's people out there who eat whatever they want, but they have six-pack abs, they're extremely lean, they're genetically gifted. So years ago I was that person. Like, I would eat, we had a place in Charlotte, North Carolina called Bojangles. It's very similar to Popeyes, but I would eat that before my workouts, and then drink like a strawberry soda before my workouts when I lived in North Carolina. And I would take videos of it and put it on my Snapchat, and it would just be hilarious, because like a couple of my friends, like my lifting buddies, specifically a guy named Mike, would comment back and say, you're just genetically gifted. But I was doing that, and I was saying, I can't gain weight, and I eat Five Guys, Bojangles, I eat horrible. But I was still not in a caloric surplus. I was eating 2 bad meals per day, working out 6 to 7 times a week, and then back then I was boxing as well. So, well, when I was boxing, I was not eating bad like that, because I would not have survived a workout at all. When I was boxing, I was eating clean, but I was doing a ton of cardio every day. So I was losing a lot of weight with that, because although my calories, and I wasn't tracking calories at this time, but just for the sake of the video, although my calories may have been at like a maintenance calorie level, but I was doing so much cardio, running 5 miles a day, it was putting me, it was causing me to be in a deficit for the day, because my energy expenditure was so high from my workouts. So that's my biggest piece of advice for hard gainers. You have to track what you eat, otherwise you will keep saying the same thing, like, I'm eating this, or some people say, I'm extremely full, I eat till I'm full. Well, maybe you just need to change up some things in your diet that you are eating to help you be able to reach that goal, but you need to be in a caloric surplus. And something else you can look at, it depends on how active you are throughout the day also, because someone who may work in construction, who's always on the move, always on the go, doing stuff, always on their feet, they're going to be expending more energy throughout the day, so they may need to be consuming more calories, versus someone like myself who sits at a desk job for 8-9 hours a day, depending on the day, sometimes even more than that. But for my case in particular, I may not need to consume as many calories as a construction worker in order to be in a caloric surplus. So it's a lot of factors that come into play with being in a caloric surplus. You have to look at more than just, eyeballing food and think you're eating bad, but you're not seeing those results that you want to see, on the scale. So what I recommend for tracking your food, use MyFitnessPal. It's a free app. You can input all your foods into there. Get you a food scale from the grocery store or from Amazon. The one I got was from Target. It was about $22. And then you can use it's different maintenance calorie calculators that you can use online. the one that I like to use, and these aren't 100% accurate. I just go to Google, type in maintenance calories, and then the first link that pops up, that's what I use for my starting point. Well, now I don't need to use that anymore, but back before, I was familiar with how many calories I needed to consume to be at like maintenance or caloric surplus. That is what I would use, and I believe the website was a caloriecounter.com. I'll put it in the description box for you all, that URL, so you can go directly to that. Once again, it's not going to be completely accurate, but it will give you a starting point for what your maintenance calorie should be. And then you can add, if you're trying to be in a caloric surplus, add about 250 calories to that and use that as your starting point. But be sure to measure and weigh your foods out and track it to see if what you're doing is working for you, and if you're truly in a caloric surplus, because you may need to add more. Or let's say you're gaining weight at too fast of a pace and it's more so fat gain, then you can reduce those calories some to where you're minimizing the fat that you're gaining, but you're still gaining weight at a decent rate. So I hope this video helps someone out who is a hard gainer. A lot of times I think people make it a lot more difficult than it has to be, and it's very simple. So in some more videos, I'll go over things like how cardio can affect your weight gain, and how, like, if you're doing a certain amount of cardio, then that's another indicator that you will need to increase your calories if you're trying to gain weight. So it's all about being in that caloric surplus. But anyways, subscribe to my channel, please. Like this video and share it with someone that you think it may help. All right, catch you on the next video. Peace.